And yeah, really interested to see obviously what Lunatic-Hai had. Obviously we're talking about the quarterfinals, what kind of threw them off the loop there, obviously what changed everything. And obviously we've got a lot of veteran viewers that are well aware of, obviously maybe watched the Apex, watched all the tournaments develop. But explain exactly what was the meta shifting change that really threw off basically all the teams in the world. Obviously what's forced all these roster changes, all these role changes.
It was just kind of like forcing everyone to play tanks and tanks only basically. Like you had D.Va come into the mix with the recent changes to her, obviously the extra HP that she gets, the extra damage she does basically, the defense matrix, all that kind of stuff. But they didn't really have like a hardcore D.Va player except Miro. And Miro's kind of forced to play at the time like Reinhardt and D.Va's playing the Zarya kind of thing. So they had to transition a couple of different play styles there. Obviously Soldier getting buffed as well put a lot of extra pressure on Eska, and then with the rise of Roadhog being very important to get these hooks and to get these entry kills for the team, they needed that solid player, which Tasia has honestly been able to do so far.
So do we just blame NIP for everything?
Yeah, partially. I mean, damn them, right? But no, honestly, Lunatic-Hai, I think, looking at Apex, looking now here, I think they're definitely a different team, and they're definitely improving and playing really well.
Yeah, and obviously moving on to their opponents, LW Red. Now, it's hard to talk about LW Red because obviously it's a very different team that we're going to see in the Challenger qualifiers next week. But let's talk about them because it's basically 5 members of Blue, Nano Hannah in there. We're going to get a little glimpse of them in just a few moments, so I'll get back to you on that one, Mitch, as we get in there. But here we go, it's LW Red.
저는 LW 레드의 나나하나고요. 포지션은 DPS예요. 첫 글로벌 대회에 출전하게 되어서 정말 기뻐요. 원래 위도우 메이커로 가장 유명했는데 저를 정말 높게 평가해 주시는 팬들이 정말 많은데 저는 솔직히 이렇게까지 제가 유명해질 줄 몰랐고요. 제 플레이 스타일은 안정적이고 정확한 걸 추구하는데요. 이런 면에서 남들과 틀린 그런 플레이 스타일을 가지고 있는 게 아닌가, 더 완벽하게. 손목 부상 때문에 이게 마우스 그립을 제가 잘못 짚고 있었다고 의사 선생님이 가르쳐 주셨거든요. 한 달 동안 게임을 정말 한 판도 못해서 속으로는 힘들었거든요. 선수 생활이 힘들진 않을까 생각했었고, 하지만 지금 컨디션 많이 올라왔으니까 이번 IEM 대회에서 저를 많이 보여주고 싶습니다. 저희 LW는 다룰 수 있는 영웅이 정말 많기 때문에 그 점이 다른 팀보다 강점이라고 생각합니다. 키플레이어는 세별비라고 생각하는데요. 제가 여기서 말씀드릴 수는 없지만 저희 팀이 이번에 세별비를 중심으로 한 전략이 있는데 이 전략 때문에 세별비가 이번에 많이 뜰 수 있을 것 같아요. 정말 오랜만에 하는 오프라인 대회, 글로벌 대회라서 많이 떨리지만 충분히 이번에 우승 노릴만 하다고 생각합니다. 저는. 많은 분들이 해외팀이 아직도 강하다고 느끼시는데요. 저희 한국팀의 힘을 보여드리고 싶습니다.
So, yeah, of course, that is LW Red. And, you know, while we talk about Lunatic-Hai being probably the most popular Korean team we've seen because of their APAC performances, LW Red was the first team we really saw make an impact on the Western world.
Yeah, probably the second. I think MVP Space tried to dip their toes in a couple of North American tournaments. But yeah, when we saw these guys on, I was actually casting in Anywhere Monthly Melee way back actually with TP and Hex and the other guys who did casting in the NA region. And these guys just rocked up to the tournament, LW Red and Blue, both teams. In LW Red, it was a tournament that had a few middle-tier North American teams, Splice, Selfless, Tempo Storm, right? So we saw these guys come in with like Korean teams. That's exciting. The last time we saw them, it was MVP for Space. They didn't really show us much. And LW Red smashed their way through this tournament, absolutely took no prisoners whatsoever. Nanahana was in the team at the time. It was actually Pine joining him. That's where the hype came from. Pine as a player, I guess, and how he sort of filtered into this one. But LW Red, because of that first showing on the North American stage, everyone had super high expectations of them going into Apex, but that's where things kind of went wrong.
Yeah, that's where they unfortunately didn't qualify, playing against Runaways, and then their sister team, Luxury Watch Blue, did make it through. But yeah, like this team, it's Luxury Watch Red at its core that's going to be playing in the Super Week next week is fantastic. But I think Sabiolbi, getting to cast him, getting to see him play Tracer has been a great experience. His Tracer's been amazing. I wonder if that's like the secret they were talking about in the video, if that's like kind of like the trick up the sleeve that they have. But in general, like Nanahana has been flexing to quite a few different roles. He's been playing at such a top level, such a high performance in the entirety of this tournament. I actually see them doing decently well against Lunatic-Hai.
course, the IEM's most picked. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by
4
that.
tanks in the top 5. Yeah.
that top line.
What a time to be alive, boys! What a time to
But
be
we
alive.
did see a bit of variation coming out of yesterday, and obviously we talk about Lunatic-Hai's problems adjusting. They have certainly adjusted now, though. They're certainly looking like a much stronger team.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting because both of these teams' secret weapons are actually their flex DPS players, right? Savior on the side of LW Red, and then on the other side, of course, Litation. All right, so these players that can flex into roles like Genji and Tracer and mix things up, that's actually the secret recipe for both of these two teams to be able to play some diverse compositions and actually, you know, stack damage as well in some cases. We see these guys come out with the 2-2-2 comp. Sometimes, you know, they don't want to play a bunch of tanks, and then we see sometimes a 3 DPS comp, especially coming out from Lunatic-Hai when we see Rujihong move to that Widowmaker. Lunatic-Hai, in my opinion, have a little bit more up their sleeve, a little bit more diversity. They can make it work, but LW Red have the raw talent on their roster to match.
Well, the grand finals is about to get underway. As you just saw, the map pool there is Hollywood, Eichenwald, Lijiang, Route 66, and Gibraltar, and it does mean we're going to be starting things off on Hollywood between Lunatic-Hai and LW Red. Well, we were so excited to jump in there, but there's a pause starting things off just to catch us off guard, of course.
Good, it gives us more time to talk about the teams, actually,
It
because
does.
Lunatic-Hai was, when we saw them kick things off, right, against Misfits, we saw them on Hollywood, and what did they do? They ran solo healer, they ran Anana, and they had like the tanks, and then they had Escon soldier. And they went for that defensive high ground to position themselves, and it actually worked relatively well. It's just such a risky kind of thing to do, to run only one healer. But when you have a Roadhog who's self-sufficient, you have a soldier who can heal himself and his team, it kind of alleviates that pressure on you.
I actually think it was an okay composition. There was probably not anything crazy about it, in my opinion. My main issue is that AF Blue didn't actually do anything about it. They didn't play a remotely innovative composition to try and counter that. They literally tried to oppose them with a bunch of stacked tanks and a Soldier 76 of their own. Obviously, when you have a Symmetra, I think it was a Symmetra on defense there for Lunatic-Hai, then you have one healer. So there are ways you can exploit that fact. But when you rock up with a bunch of tanks, no Roadhog, and a Soldier 76, there's no reason that you're going to win that out there. So I actually don't really think that Lunatic-Hai were pushed, or nothing was really, no curveballs were thrown in their direction by AF Blue.
It was AF Blue that used it, I think. It was Arhan, wasn't it?
Oh, on the
It was
Symmetra,
Arhan,
yes.
yeah, that used it. But we'll see whether it works out, and there it is. I can see one straight on the screen. It is going to be Toby. So they've made the adjustment from yesterday, that means. Obviously, we saw Cloud9 breaking this out originally just 2 days ago. Now we're already seeing Cloud9 using it on Dorado, actually, earlier today.
Yeah.
So,
well, they saw him do it on Hollywood as well when they were playing against...
Yeah, that's what I say. It was the first time he came out was with that, with a Torbjorn. Thankfully, we're not going to get Torbjorn in there this time around, but Eska not going to be on the Soldier 76. Instead, will be on the main.
Okay, so that implies a little bit more of an aggressive defensive mindset here for Lunatic-Hai. I think they're going to want to play a little bit closer up to the choke points and use that wall. They can't really use it on the point, so they're going to have to push around to their L-bend, I think, a little bit more.
So there's like kind of 2 ways you can go about that. You can hold the choke point, but what we did see yesterday as well is you don't need to hold the choke point, because when they come into the point, then you split them off, and then you just jump down and kill them, because you have the safety of the high ground to hide behind the Reinhardt shield, and you don't necessarily need to hold up close into that choke point. But I want to see what Nanahana's doing. He's playing the Reaper. He doesn't have his Zenyatta to support him with the Discord or to get some extra DPS in. But if they get on top of the point and they force Lunatic-Hai to drop down, that's where he has easy pickings.
Oh, right out of the gates here, it's going to be LW Red in red on the attack to kick things off here on Hollywood. And you're right, Nanahana up on that Reaper, expecting some close quarters combat to occur.
Well, obviously with no soldier, Dean doesn't need to be getting up in their face. So they're going to be looking to see if they're going to charge on down there. They're just going to go straight brute force in and around the side. Nanahana getting straight on towards the back of the Reinhardt, but not going to actually find a kill. Ajay Hong's been taken down. Miro drops, and that is a catastrophe for Lunatic-Hai to start things off. 4 down already for a 1 exchange. That is only going to go one way, Jason.
And keep in mind, we actually don't even have Jaehong playing tank. It's Dean playing tank. He's back on D.Va, and Jaehong's back on the Ana play, which we saw him be so popular for back at the APAC tournament. So there we go. Luxrotch Red take the point. They force the fight on the low ground, and Anahana's like, all right, boys, this is easy kills.
This is a good read, in my opinion, from LW Red. You're picking a Reaper. If you expect him to go against Soldier 76, you don't take a Reaper at all, because you're going to get smashed from that medium to long range. But you bring in a Reaper, expecting a Mei and lots of tanks, good call.
And here, where Reaper is not really effective because you want to fight on the ground, obviously, close quarters, you can get on the high ground, yes, but you're not really safe necessarily in that kind of situation. You don't really have the healing to support you there.
Oh, well, when you get a hook straight on you, you're not really going to be able to do a great deal there. Taejun manages to work it. Taejun, a player that was under pressure in this team and is working very well. Gets himself a quick and easy kill on Janus, follows it off with the hook there. Doesn't actually fall into the kill. Oh, there we go. Miko finally goes down, but solid stuff. Okay, so Lunatic-Hai, they established themselves. They did lose out very early on. It does give them still a 5-minute cushion for Lunatic-Hai to defend.
Yeah, so they got rid of the Mei here, so they don't want to play in the doorway. You're going to see them move back a little bit and just use the high ground, because Eska now, having switched over towards the 76, is going to give them really good control from that medium to long range.
The danger is if you do play close range, Nanahana's like, all right, this is easy, boys. So you want to get Eska, Jaehong all on the high ground, so you can't give Luxrotch a chance to actually contest it. There's an Ana boost already coming through.
Well, the self-destruct has come back out, so he's going to have to get behind that shield. Nanohana, though, does pick himself up a quick double. That's Toby and Dean both going down. Feet in the distance. Eska, the hook going to land, and that's all she wrote. And that's going to be Lunatic-Hai in all sorts of trouble. So the Wild West section, it is being bypassed. We did talk about the fact that obviously Jaehong was up on high, but not a great deal you can do when you're on your own.
And there's a case to be made, actually, for Nanahana switching. Oh, that's nasty. That's Meko going to fall. There's a case to be made for Nanahana switching earlier off the Reaper and going to a 76 because he knew he was playing against one. But he's like, no, I've got Death Blossom here. We've got a Nano Boost. Even though this is like maybe a disadvantageous DPS matchup, I'm just going to win the team fight right now with the spin to win.
And then the fact is, like, a Death Blossom with a Nano Boost, it's such a crucial ultimate combo to have. They can decimate a team if they get out of position, so it's definitely worth holding on to it as long as you possibly can. Problem is now, Lunatic-Hai, they have the Nano Boost, they have the Tactical Visor all ready to go, but LW Red are switching things up. They're trying to get on the high ground, trying to force Eska back, but he doesn't have the safety from the high.
Well, as a Nano Boost, I think it just saw down low. Yeah, Jaehong has managed to boost up Miro, but doesn't get a great deal from it, unfortunately. Miko manages to get himself back in the suit, round the backside, tries to separate them, gets straight on the back of Miro. Miro in all sorts of trouble here. You can see the shots coming from Nanohana up on high. The hammer goes down. The sound barrier comes out from both sides to keep them alive at the moment. Eska's getting forced down, chased down. This is something we've seen so often. The Divas just hunting down the Soldier 76ers. Ooh. This time around, it doesn't work out. Nanohana will go.
That was massive. He was sat on a biotic field there as well. It still wasn't able to heal through it enough. The pressure being put on by Dean was a little bit too much to deal with now. And finally, Lunatic-Hai find their feet for, in my opinion, the first time in this game, or at least in this map. Now they can sit back, use that high ground yet again. Eska needs to make it work, and you can see LW Red want to peel off to the left.
I think Lunatic-Hai actually got a little bit lucky there too, because you had Nanohana and Luna on the high ground not being contested. So your Ana's free healing. Nanohana, which we see him be a fantastic soldier, is getting so much free damage off. But Dean and Taejun working really well together. The Earthshatter going through!
Massive Earthshatter comes through, catches out 4 people, but there was no follow-up at the moment. Dean got hooked in actually, get around the side. Nanohana, Nano boosted up. That's not the hook you want. Earthshatter, brilliant stuff comes out there. And Janus working well here, and that's going to be the payload pushing on through. They have to run all the way back to collect it. There is going to be a chance for Lunatic-Hai, though, to defend.
And like this, Nanohana going to go up on the high ground now because it is pretty safe to defend outside of the Gold Studios. You spawn close to that area as defenders. So Nanohana wants a power position to exercise a power player, Lunatic-Hai, who are scrabbling to hold on this checkpoint.
Well, you can see Nanohana starting to make it down. Taejun already taken down to below half health. A lot of work to be done here. You can see Dean trying to get in their face. Big adjustments for Dean, by the way. Was playing, by the way, on the support, as I'm just about to say, was playing on Ana yesterday. Jaehong making that switch. So they've already made switches just from yesterday alone. And this time it doesn't seem to be working out for them. Taejun gets himself the kill on Sabiobi, and that's a big kill.
That's being forced back here as well by Miro just for the moment, but they're all split off. Janus is up on the payload. They're trying to make it go, but Lunatic-Hai. Oh, the double kill coming in there with the self-destruct. Meko doing good work, but he needs to join Janus here. Desperate healing coming from the side of Gamble to keep him up on his feet, and Meko being pushed back, but the whole hog, she's done and dusted now. We see the defense matrix come up. Neko caught in. Meko, should I say, put to sleep, and now heading for the hills.
Yeah, put to sleep, launched out off away. Dean chases him down, does manage to get the D-suit eventually, but there's going to be a Sound barrier coming through. Janice gets a great earth shatter down. Catches 4 members of Lunatic-Hai, pins them all against the wall. Toby gets Janice down, but it may well have the damage been done. Nanohana on the flank here. He's got Tac Visor ready and waiting to go, but Tajan finds Gambler. Janice goes down, and Nanohana suddenly almost out of position. He went for the flank, but the rest of his team are dead.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't have himself a Tac Visor here as well, but needs to regroup with the rest of his team. They won't let him get away so easily, though. You'll see him be pressured back, and now at least some time for Loon to kind of breathe.
Dean, like, there's been so much pressure on him on this D.Va play for the entirety of this Wild Wild West section, and he's been doing phenomenal. He's been going up against Nanohana and Luna 1v2, and still somehow catching a soldier on that high ground. There's so many different angles to hide behind with the self-destruct. That gives them the high ground control. It takes away from LW Red and forces them to fight on the ground where Lunatic-Hai is going to excel.
When we finally get a moment, I want to talk about the whole role changes that's happened between semi-finals and finals between Dean and Jaehong, because it's really intriguing me. Dean gets himself the kill on Nanohana, and that's a vital one with just 7 seconds now remaining. Eska gets the nano boost down. Janice, no chance for him there. Tac Visor running. He can just have to run and hide. Everybody's just getting picked off easily. This is looking like Lunatic-Hai may well get himself his solid defense. Sabiobi will get taken down, and that is all she wrote. Overtime will take in just a moment. Once one man will get cleared off it.
Yeah, Gambler waiting. Nanohana going to come in with the Tac Visor, though. This is last-ditch attempts coming through, but Miro is going to shut it down with the hammer. Now just pretty much put LW Red out of contention here. An attempt from, I think, Luna to try and get around the side there, but Eska caught him, and it will be a solid hold out in front of the second checkpoint here for Lunatic-Hai.
So, Lee, you pointed out you wanted to touch on the role swaps for Lunatic-Hai. So seeing Jaehong playing Ana, obviously it's hard for us to figure out exactly why they did that without asking them, but for my thoughts are going to be the fact, with Tafik saying when they played at APAC that Jaehong is the best Ana he's ever seen in his life, going 1v1 against him, Genji v Ana, is impossible for him unless he knows Jaehong messes up his cooldowns with his body grenade. I want to say that they're playing Jaehong on Ana to deal with Sabiobi or Nanohana if they play Genji to kind of eliminate that sort of situation. Because I don't know how confident they are in Dean or him and himself to hit these crucial sleep darts.
Because Dean's formerly the tank,
right,
switched to that support role of Ana the last 2 days, the quarterfinals and semifinals, and now he's back onto the Divas. Let's see what they stick with this time around. It looks like he's going to be back on the Ana now, on attack.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I mean, Dean's done a great job in general, let's be honest here, but Dummy from Energy did say about Lunatic-Hai is that you cannot allow Rujahong to have space as Ana, because he will 1v6 you. He has so much impact over the battlefield, he's left to his own devices, but now, obviously, Dean going to be on the Ana this time, see if he can exercise the same kind of control. But we have a Nanohana coming in here, of course, on that Mei, which we did see earlier on. Sabiobi on the Roadhog.
But what's weird to me is that Dean was the Zarya player for Lunatic-Hai, Miro was the Reinhardt player, and yet they're putting Jaehong on Zarya here and Dean back on Ana. So it's kind of weird to see them swap, but I honestly love it because they're swapping in situations. It's like having, I have to compare it to another game, but having the fact that they have 2 great Ana players and 2 great tank players means if one of them's not feeling that confident that day or not feeling like they're performing well, just swap them and they can still perform.
Massive flexibility in the team, and all this without any roles, roster swaps. That's what I like to see. It's simply a case of all these guys being DPS players before. So let's talk about the roles they're going to play this time around. You're getting excited about.
I saw Toby playing
I was
Tracer.
hoping the dive would come in.
That's exactly what I was looking at. I was like, solo healer with the dive? That's a little bit awkward, but they can still go for the dive.
Well, they have got the dive.
The 3-man dive.
They've got the Genji Miro.
Oh!
Eska switching in there, going to chive in. Toby on the Tracer as well. So this is a 4-man dive pile-in.
This is the pumped-up dive. This is like all in, pretty much, of course. Now, Eska, Toby, Miro, and Tajan are going to go in. There'll be a shield from Jaehong now. You're going to see him trying to get a bit of a vantage point now as well, and Miro bouncing up and down as he always does. Tajan needs to find those targets, and already Nanohana's been forced into the ice block.
Miro just catching everyone in that Tesla, perfectly done, but Toby will get picked off. Sabiobi gets the hook in there. Eska's managed to find himself one. That's Nanohana going down early on in the main, so that's a real big pickup. Tajan getting around the side, gets himself a good kill. Luna goes down, not before he managed to deal with Eska, but it does look like it's going to be a very even fight. Now, the backup support can come from Lunatic-Hai much quicker than LW Red, but they are forced away.
Not quite enough in that fight, but at least they've staggered somewhat onto Lunatic-Hai's defense.
So basically what we need to see here is Lunatic-Hai get their ultimates up before LW Red gets Blizzard. Because once Nanohana has that, he has the area denial on the payload once Lunatic-Hai does fully engage with all their ultimates. But I also want to credit LH on the fact of their focus fire. We saw Miro, Eska, and Tajan all jump on Nanohana when he was on the high ground, and Dean just getting caught out.
A little bit of aggressive there. It does go a long way because Tajan was ready to set up for a big fight here with this Nano Blade, and now already losing his Ana. He's going to get cut down by Sabiobi before he can really get too far. That's a lot of ultimates there. Even Gambler using his sound barrier to little avail as the fight continues, and LW Red are going to push out.
So what they did was that they wanted to get Dean set up on the high ground, and then they transitioned in a different place. So they allowed Dean to constantly heal without being under threat. But the problem was, I think LW Red just completely ran into it, and Janus, he's setting up for an Earth Shadow. This is going to be deadly here.
Yeah, they were set up ready waiting for that one. So Tajan, who we saw having a fantastic Genji throughout the tournament so far, has already made that switch across.
Oh, God.
That is the exact Earth Shadow we wanted to see. The pin on the wall as well. That is just a massacre. Now, bear in mind, Lunatic-Hai are chasing a fairly small goal. They only need to get the first point and then reach through the Wild West section, but there's only 2 minutes left on the first point.
As the Earth Shadow came down, you can almost hear the dying cries of a seagull out somewhere here. But we see Toby got the Pulse Bomb. Ru Jae-hong does have his Graviton Surge not too far away, so there is the chance for them to hit this big combo. Toby is stuck to this pick for the whole round. We'll have to see if we'll change after, or if this fight will work out now for Lunatic-Hai.
Well, here comes Jae-Hong trying to get that charge up. It's ready and waiting to go. The Graviton Surge pops it straight on the corner. It's going to get followed on, but it's the Blizzard response coming out from LW Red. They get themselves one down, but Toby gets the kill in the end. Sabiobi forced to go for the flank. He's going to look for Dean around the back there. Meanwhile, Toby's going jumping in. There's the Pulse Bomb being tossed out there. Does get the kill on Luna, and it looks like they may well have finally captured the point.
So it looks like with the help of the Graviton Surge, they actually split LW Red in half, where Luna, I think it was Gambler, was kind of off towards the backside, and then obviously the tanks are up towards the front with Nanohana there as well, but somehow Toby was able to pick them off. Like, he got a crucial kill on a Luna. I believe that was Tajan who got a great hook in there as well to pick up a kill to kind of give them that snowball. This is where things are going to get really interesting, because they're going to have to change comps here, I would assume. But LW Red, they're not playing the soldier still. They're still sticking Nanohana on the maze, so it looks like they want to fight up close and personal. Knowing that there's not a lot of distance that Lunatic-Hai has to travel, they need to fight at this point.
They may not have had time to switch, or maybe they thought Nanohana would have a chance to reinforce the point, so they're forced into this situation now. I need to respect it. If they lose here, it could be quite nasty, and we could even see this phase circumvented. It's an Earth Shadow that doesn't quite connect, and that's Miro getting himself the nano boost now. We are seeing the self-destruct come into the point. It won't affect anyone, but LW Red are split again.
Yeah, launched in there. Sound barrier quickly responded from LW Red, so they're in a good position to force Lunatic-Hai back away from this payload. It's not going to get through the doors by the looks of it, and it's going to slow down. But remember, they have got a spawn point right up close now. It's going to give them the advantage. So LW Red, they've got to be careful they don't basically submit too much into this fight.
I mean, they have a Blizzard, though, coming up in just a few seconds. And yes, Lunatic-Hai will have the Graviton Surge, but the disengage factor out of this Blizzard could be so big. He gets slept, though!
Sleep Dart comes through. Is going to be enough to keep him down. Luna gets picked up, though. Mira does manage to find Gambler, and here's Sabiobi.
Oh, that
popped
hurts.
up, the whole hog nano boosted. It's going to be doing so much damage, but the question is, the rest of his team can't keep with him. They're going to fall, and Lunatic-Hai will get the payload moving.
On the way now as well. You see the attempt, of course, with the whole hog coming out from Sabiobi was a little bit too late in the day. They'd already lost a lot of their teammates, of course, and then the defense matrix cut right across it from Esker, who again we're seeing him on this Diva pick now as Lunatic-Hai do default back to a very heavy tank stacking comp.
Seems like LW Red are going to commit to this Blizzard to get on the point. They're going to have to use it relatively early here just to pick up some kills and delay Lunatic-Hai for the push.
Well, he got the Blizzard down at least, but that's about all. They charged out of it. They read the situation well. Sabiobi's also been picked off and focused. Jae-Hong being boosted up on the nano and just burning them down. And this is a problem because the gold marker's only around the corner here.
And Lunatic-Hai didn't use any ultimates in that fight. They have the Graviton Surge, they have the Earth Shatter, they have the whole hog coming up. All they used was that nano boost, and LW Red, what are they going to have available? It's the Earth Shatter out of Jonas to somehow shut this down. Even Sabiobi switching over to the Reaper last second to try to hold, try to use that Wraith Form to contest.
And Jae-Hong's got good charge right now. He'll be doing damage. That's a big Graviton Surge coming through here. It's an attempt, at least for the moment, for Mecha to get up on the point, and he is. The Graviton Surge didn't have a heck of a lot of follow-up to it now, and LW Red, though, running low on health there. No sound barriers at this stage. Toby already having used his. The whole hog comes out from Tajan. Esker with a double from the self-destruct.
From top on high. There's the hook. There's the kill. Luna goes down. You see the marker. You see the LW Red dropping like flies. Nanohana, the last man. They've just got to clear out. It's that pesky ice block, and everything goes in there. Now, it bought him enough time, but is it long enough? No. There's the hook. There's the finish. And Lunatic-Hai will take Hollywood.
Esker. I hope really